on this Weather Action Day, because we are dealing with those extreme temperatures, we want to remind you that the Salvation Army does have its heat relief stations open. The Salvation Army and partner organizations open those doors to anyone who needs water and some air conditioning and just a chance to get out of those scorching temperatures. So this morning we are joined by Scott Johnson from the Salvation Army. Scott, thanks so much for joining us. So I want to get right into it. Talk to me a little bit about how important these heat relief stations are, how many people you see coming to get that relief.
They are important, Nohe, because in Arizona we consider heat our natural disaster. You were talking about Hurricane Dorian just a short time ago. Heat is the top killer as far as weather-related deaths in the United States, more than hurricanes, more than tornadoes, more than floods. So when there are excessive heat warnings issued by the National Weather Service, the Salvation Army opens 12 heat relief stations across the valley, stretching from Apache Junction to Sun Cities. And during this summer, we've been able to help more than 22,000 people with hydration and cooling. Very important to get yourself indoors, and we offer that opportunity for anybody that is able to get to one of our heat relief stations. We also have the opportunity in some of our places. You'll see on the table here, we've got hats, sunscreen, cooling towels, lip balm. There are a limited supply of these that we have, so we really need the Valley's help with this kind of thing. If you were to log on to salvationarmyphoenix.org or text HEAT to 51555, you would be able to make a monetary donation to help the Salvation Army purchase these type of vital heat relief items. We're also dog friendly. We know that pets are valued members of the family, so we have partnered with the Arizona Animal Welfare League to put together some of these packets with some dog food, a bowl, a couple of leashes, and as you'll see, a bandana as well, because we know that somebody might not come into our heat relief stations if they know their dog might be welcome. So in most of our heat relief stations, leashed dogs are welcome as long as we can maintain safety.
Now, Scott, you talked about how people can reach out and help online and donate money, but also their time, because these heat relief stations are operated by volunteers, right?
Absolutely. You can volunteer at any of our heat relief stations by calling our main office at 602-267-4100. We need volunteers for these heat relief stations across the valley and volunteers for what the Salvation Army does year-round as well. And I also wanted to mention, Nohe, you know this as well because you've seen it in action. We do have a mobile unit that also goes out to targeted portions of the valley that have high homeless populations and encampments. So we try to reach as much of the valley as we possibly can.
Yeah, and those are so important too, because you also, I have seen on those mobile heat relief stations, you offer some of the same gear that you were showing us on the table, that chapstick, and how vital that is for people when they're out in these extreme conditions, and also that headgear, those hats, anything to stay cool. How long do these heat stations stay open? Because I know today is the day that we have these extreme heat advisories. So how late tonight are you open? When can we get help again?
Whenever we have an excessive heat warning like this, Nohe, our heat relief stations will be open from 11 to 5 each day that there is an excessive heat warning. And as you mentioned, it's for anybody. Somebody just walking along the streets during the course of their day who needs to cool off for a few minutes, needs to get some hydration. We welcome anybody to come into one of our heat relief stations and get this vital heat relief.
Such a critical program to help the people who most need it in our valley. Scott Johnson from the Salvation Army, we thank you so much for your time this morning. We'll talk to you again soon. Now, if you or someone you know does need to escape the heat, we have a map of all of the relief stations that they've opened across the valley, and you can find the one that is closest to you or the person that you want to help on our website by heading to abc15.com.